Hi, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm very excited to show you how QuiKer can save you hours a week on documentation. Within the insurance industry, I'm certain there are days you feel more like a professional documenter versus an actual insurance professional. QuiKer was designed to, of course, save users time with documentation, but also to reduce the E&O exposure we face every day by helping you adopt a document-as-you-go process by getting everything ultimately where it needs to be, logged into AMS 360. With QuiKer, you can take your average time to create activities down from the current 48 seconds to only 7 seconds, resulting in over 1 hour a day of time savings per user. How often would you say that you are in the correct customer's file within AMS when you receive a call or an email from that client? It's not a trick question. The answer is never. The cumbersome navigation to the client file for each and every single transaction is what in fact steals the most time from our precious workdays. But before we get started, I would like to briefly discuss what types of users you want to trial QuiKer to give you and your agency the best possible feedback. We have learned that the best trial user is your highly compliant user, one who wants to document and protect the agency from an E&O claim, and they will value a tool that gives them the time and ability to do just this. Users who are prone to not document customer transactions now may very well suggest that QuiKer slows them down. And of course it would, because they are now being prompted to document, something that they are not used to doing. Lastly, everything I'm going to show you today can be done without having AMS 360 open, so you don't have to be logged in to use QuiKer. Okay, now let's get started. QuiKer can be used with all incoming emails and subfolders, as well as with all sent emails. The first button in my ribbon is the Create Email Activity button. Once clicked, this button will create an activity for the email that you have selected. I am sure that the activity screen you are seeing looks very familiar. I do want to point out that when you are searching for a customer, QuiKer has an intuitive search that searches for the customer as you begin to enter characters. Now let's move on to action. QuiKer communicates directly with your AMS account to pull all of your agency's action codes right on over. Your action codes will be sorted alphabetically here, and you can also search for the action code by typing it into the field. You will notice QuiKer's intuitive search here as well. As we move down the screen, you have a drop-down for policies, which includes submissions. The amount of policies and submissions will be in parentheses to the right of this box. So if you wanted to associate this activity with a specific policy or submission, you have the ability to do that here. Of course, you can also leave it blank. Just to the right is claims, very similar. If you wanted to associate this activity with a specific claim, you have the option to choose that here, or you can leave it blank. Please note that both the policies and claims will be sorted with the newest at the top. Right below policy and claims, you have the option to choose the date and time for the activity. As you can see, QuiKer pulls the current date and time that you are actually creating the activity, but if you want to backdate it, you certainly can do so. And below the date are where you'll see your attachments. You will notice that by clicking the Create Email Activity button, all of the attachments were extracted from the email. But I want to note, however, that all of these attachments are actually still embedded in the email, which is the .msg attachment, the first one. Since QuiKer's main screen can only display 3 attachments, if you have any additional, you simply need to click the hyperlink button below the attachments to pull all of them up. Now that I have this screen open, please watch how quickly and easily I can remove unwanted attachments by clicking the X to the left of the attachments. Here, you can also change the file name and document description, if your agency has a specific SOP for labeling documents and attachments. And then we also give you the security field. If you use this within your agency, you may choose the access level here. If not, please just ignore this field. I'm now going to save my changes and return to the activity screen. To add additional attachments, you have 2 options. The first and most common is to drag and drop. I want to note that you can drag and drop from the mailbox or your desktop. You will also notice that the additional attachments that are dragged over do not extract. So if you drag over an email, the attachments are simply embedded within that email. The only time attachments will extract is if you use the Create Email Activity button. In addition to the drag and drop, you can also add an attachment by browsing. To do this, click the hyperlink Add Attachment to browse your computer. As we move down the activity screen, you will notice the description area. Just like in AMS 360, QuiKer will include the to, CC, and subject line of the email, and then you're free to add whatever notes you would like. Below the description box, you will find a much needed tool that will save you even more time. QuiKer will allow you to view all uncompleted suspenses for the customer selected. Simply click on the Edit Active Suspenses hyperlink button to view the suspenses in order to edit or complete them. Once you have made the changes to these suspenses, you can click Accept and return to your main activity screen. If you wish to create a follow-up suspense for this activity, simply check off the suspense box and it will copy the information down from the activity. It will automatically suspend to the person creating the activity, and if you choose to CC another user, you will be creating an independent, not shared suspense for yourself as well as for that other user who is CC'd. This allows for proper follow-up in the event that one user dismisses a suspense prematurely. Next, you will of course need to choose a due date. You can amend the action code, priority, as well as description field as needed here, just like you can in AMS. Once finished, simply click Create Activity and Suspense at the bottom. Now that we know how to create an email activity, I would like to discuss the second button in my ribbon, Create Activity Only. The Create Activity Only button is a way to create an activity and a suspense for a customer that is not associated with an email. Users will have a blank activity screen, allowing them to create on-the-fly activities for things such as telephone conversations and inter-office conversations. Please note, you can add attachments to this by dragging and dropping or browsing using the Add Attachment hyperlink button in the window like I just showed you earlier. Moving on to the next button in the ribbon, Create Suspense Only, very similar to the last two. This is the option you will select if you only want to create a follow-up suspense not tied to an activity. Simply click the button, choose your action code and due date, and then simply enter whatever text you need to in the description box. To finalize, click Create Suspense Only at the bottom. Easy enough, right? Now I'm going to show you how QuiKer works when sending an email. To do this, I'm going to compose a new email. Once I send the email and the email hits my sent folder, QuiKer will prompt me to create an activity for the email I just sent. Please note, users have the option of selecting No for any emails that do not belong in AMS. Go ahead and take that second to click No if it's not important. But if the email does need to be attached, simply choose Yes, and the email will pop out reminding you of what you just sent, followed by our activity screen, which will allow for quick and easy documentation for that sent email. Once I create the activity, the email will close out. This feature also works when sending an email from your cell phone or any device you use to send emails with your company email address. When users return to Outlook after sending an email from another device, they will be prompted to create activities for those prior sent emails. No more out-of-sight, out-of-mind emails forgotten about in the sent folder. Also, no more toggling over to the sent folder in the event you need to attach a sent email to AMS. At this point, I would like to show you the QuiKer auditing feature. After an activity is created via QuiKer, a check mark will be placed next to the email, allowing for users and supervisors to audit inboxes and sent folders. In addition to the check mark, users can view the activity history at the bottom of the email. This history will include the date of the activity suspense, as well as the action selected. Now you know for a fact when an email has been attached, and you don't need to double check AMS to make certain you did it. There are a few features left to discuss. First, the contact book. The QuiKer contact book pulls to the customer center contacts within AMS. It has nothing to do with your Outlook contacts, I'd just like to point out. To access, just click on the contact book button in your ribbon, type in your customer's name, and seconds later, the phone numbers and email addresses tied to the account will populate for you. To send an email to one of those addresses, simply drag and drop the email address to the To, CC, or BCC field. If you wish to have the customer name, policy number, and/or claim number appear in the subject line of the email, simply select the policy and/or claim associated and check the boxes to the right of the fields. Then click New Email at the bottom. The email will pop on top of the contact book, and you will see that the fields are properly populated to what you have selected. Go ahead and send that email as usual. And finally, the user options. If you do not want QuiKer to pop after sending an email, simply choose Options, monitored accounts, and unselect the checkbox for the email address you do not want the QuiKer pops for. This can easily be re-enabled at any time. We of course recommend that these boxes stay checked, but let's say you are out of the office for an extended period of time and you will be sending numerous emails from your mobile device, and you don't want to come back to the office to 100 pop-ups on your screen. Simply disable the popping temporarily and turn it back on when you arrive to the office. Under the general options, we have a few more features that each QuiKer user gets to decide at the local level. First, we have include email attachments. This simply means that as the user, you can choose if you want QuiKer to extract the attachments from the email message when creating an email activity, or leave them all embedded within the email message. Next, we have suggest customers based on previous activity. As you use QuiKer, it will begin to associate email addresses with customers. So once you attach an email from a specific address to a specific customer, the next time you try to attach that customer, QuiKer will suggest the customer for you based on that past email address. Third, we have, after the activity is created, move the email to a QuiKer subfolder in Outlook. Many users were asking us to automatically delete the email from their mailbox once attached to AMS. We did not want to do that, so we came up with this compromise. A user can choose to select this option, and once they attach an email via QuiKer, it will automatically suck the email out of their inbox or sent folder and put it into a QuiKer subfolder that will automatically be created within the mailbox. Lastly, the cache data area. QuiKer needs to update in order to retrieve any new information you have added to AMS. For example, a new customer or prospect. Once you add this new customer to AMS, QuiKer needs to cache so you can begin attaching to that new customer via QuiKer. You can either close out of Outlook and reopen, or add a sync cache button to your ribbon and manually click that button in order to refresh and update QuiKer. Now that we have gone through all of the ways in which you can use QuiKer, you are ready to start your trial. We offer a 14-day complimentary trial for as many users within your agency that you would like. You will find all of the instructions on how to get started right here below the video. The install is very simple, and there are just a few steps the AMS administrator will need to take before installing. Lastly, we do have an in-house help desk support team waiting to help you with any installation issues you may encounter. We also have an in-house workflow solutions team for workflow questions. Please do not hesitate to contact us for feedback and or any questions or issues at all. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. I hope that you've enjoyed this demo and enjoy the time savings that QuiKer has to offer you and your agency.